Today on the Goggler podcast, Bahir and I are going to be reviewing Deadloch on Prime Video and the Super Mario Galaxy movie. But first, and more importantly, the most exciting thing that we've been watching all of this week is the Artemis 2 launch. That's right, NASA is going back to the moon. Now, Bahir, you and I were talking about this, and what you said was quite interesting in that NASA hasn't been to the moon in over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
After the Apollo missions, they kind of just stopped. And a lot of people ask why they stopped, but it had a lot to do with money, the loss of public interest, the fact that they had beaten Russia already, and so the space race was actually over. And with the lack of competition, I think the motivation wasn't as strong. But also, you said China and India had been to the moon recently, and yet it wasn't as exciting.
Yeah.
And I was wondering about why it didn't feel as exciting. I mean, it was a big deal, Bahir, among the Indian uncle and auntie WhatsApp groups, let me tell you.
Okay.
Big deal. Everyone was very excited. And I'm sure among the Chinese uncle and auntie WhatsApp groups as well, when China went to the moon, they must have been all over that shitla. But
Yeah.
I think it boils down to marketing. I think it has a lot to do with rhetoric. I think it has a lot to do with the way America has always sold NASA as being for all mankind. And I think it also has to do with the fact that China and India are incredibly secretive. Like NASA is secretive as well, but I think they put so much into the public space that it feels like you're involved in this mission as well.
I just want to point out that NASA is a publicly funded organization, which means all of their resources are free to use.
Correct.
I have the Project Apollo archives bookmarked on my browser. It's
Same.
because you can just go and look at the images that they get for free. It's not for just their use. It is literally for humanity, I will grandiosely say. Like, I remember when the Chinese and the Indian probes landed on the moon, I remember reading about it and going, oh, that's cool. But it kind of just was that. NASA has got the romance. Something about NASA has got the romance.
It's also decades of film and TV shows and books and graphic novels and all of the spin-offs that stuff has kind of inspired, right? And I think a lot of that has to do with how they feature within the public consciousness, because for the most part, even in film and television and all of that stuff, NASA is a good organization.
Yes.
Of the American government, right? Because
Yeah.
certain aspects of the American government have been portrayed at various times as being bad or evil or sinister or cunning or suspicious or conspiratorial.
Yeah.
But NASA, for the most part, has been a noble organization. And I think that too feeds into the public consciousness and excitement as to the Artemis 2 mission. And it's a lot of firsts, right? And it's a lot of cool stuff. It's literally going to be the furthest human beings have ever been from Earth because they're doing a fly around.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is crazy. The fact that it's less than 15 people who have actually landed and set foot on the moon, like human beings who have left Earth and landed on the moon, that number is insane. And so I think it's quite exciting that both the US government, the public, are once again enthralled by space. And the Artemis missions, they did the unmanned flight first, Artemis 1, and then Artemis 4 in a couple of years is going to be the lunar landing mission. So this is the first manned flight. They're going to do another one before they actually attempt to land on the moon again. And then finally, it's going to be the lunar landing one. It's using the SLS system. They've got another system coming up called Starship, but that is nowhere near ready. SLS isn't perfect because it's not reusable, which is a problem. But I think we need to remember that this is not NASA's doing, this is Congress's doing. This is all they would approve. This is all the funding they had. This was a compromise delivery ship.
Yeah.
When Starship happens, that's going to be pretty exciting because that's going to be a revolutionary new space vehicle. Also, like, why go to the moon right now? Because it's all a stepping stone, right? The only way we can ever get to Mars is if we go to the moon, set up base there, and use that as a kicking off point to go to Mars.
Yeah, but I also think that this is one of those things that has got multiples of unintended consequences. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for the Apollo moon missions, we wouldn't have integrated circuits, which is microchips. We wouldn't have digital fly-by-wire systems, which is all modern aircraft. Shit, you wouldn't have fucking memory foam, cordless tools,
You wouldn't have Velcro, you wouldn't have Tang.
water purification systems, improved firefighting gear. Like, I get it. There are Earth problems that need to be solved, but in a lot of ways, spending the fraction of a dollar that the Americans spend on NASA funding every year means we can, in 10 years, get something. All these things that we never would have had if John F. Kennedy didn't make Americans go to the moon.
And I think all of that is important, but I think it's not the only thing. Like, I think every time someone asks the question, why spend billions of dollars doing this when there's poverty and there's schools that are having trouble and America's children have a high death rate and all of these things and all of these problems in the world and in America, right? I think exploration alone should be enough of an answer.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time we as human beings have become very comfortable in our everyday that we forget how it was a core tenet of our ancestors' ancestors. It was an important part of that nomadic existence. It was how our people ended up in Malaysia. I mean, even in our history books, from Parameswara onwards, it has always been about exploration and adventure and seeking out new things. And I think the next frontier, pun intended, is space. And it's exciting that we're doing this again. And also, it's not a zero-sum game. Just because they're spending billions of dollars going to space, it doesn't mean they aren't spending billions of dollars addressing the problems here on Earth.
I just pulled it up. The US government allocated $25 billion in 2024, approximately 0.4 of total federal spending. So,
it's nothing.
It's not a chunk, right?
For me, you know what the
Is that
equivalent
like 3
is?
tanks?
No, for me, the equivalent is when I don't finish my food and my mom tells me children are starving in Africa, so you have to finish your plate. Like, that is the equivalent, right? Me not eating those last 3 pieces of broccoli is not going to change anything.
It's not like those 3 broccolis are going to get on a plane and flown to Africa.
Exactly.
I think there are arguments to be made for both sides, but I think the pros greatly outweigh the cons.
I agree.
I think dreaming is good. I think hope is good, especially at a time like now. I think wanting to go and do something that the whole world can sort of rally around is good. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, to go back to what we were talking about earlier about the Chinese and the Indian probes, they weren't streaming the launch on YouTube. Like, I wouldn't say they're secretive. They're just not as pomp and ceremony about it, I think.
I have the YouTube live stream just
The
on.
NASA live stream? Yeah.
Yes, there's a YouTube live stream. I have it on the big TV outside. It's just on all day. Who knows what's going to happen? Something cool may happen. I may see Reed's pin as he enters it on his tablet, which is very exciting.
That was pretty exciting.
I may hear him bitch about Outlook not working. It's great. Poor Microsoft. Terrible marketing for them.
Yep.
I've got 2 versions of Outlook and they both don't work.
Yeah. Can you guys patch in and fix this? That was beautiful. Yeah. Come on, man.
It's an exciting thing. I mean, the reason we're talking about it is I think all of this is just it ties into everything that we do. It ties into popular culture. It ties into the movies you watch, into the books you read, into the life you live. God knows we use Velcro every damn day. But more importantly, I think it is an important moment. Like when it happened, I texted you, and the first thing I said was, I can't believe I'm alive to see this. Like I can't believe this is happening in my lifetime, because I think it is absolutely historic and a sign of things to come. Like there is a war going on in the Middle East, and wars happen, but I think the impact of what this is going to be generational.
To be fair, let's hope so. That's all I can say. I'm more pessimistic than you are, but I mean, let's just fucking hope so.
I only say generational because, hey man, if we get out to the moon, if we colonize Mars in 150 years when the Earth is uninhabitable, that's where we're going to end up.
I'm gonna be dead, so that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just
I
saying,
mean, this is what, season 1 of For All Mankind?
it is season 1 of For All Mankind.
Let's do that again. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Let's talk movies. Speaking of space, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is now in Malaysian cinemas. This is, of course, the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie, which came out a few years ago. I really enjoyed that first movie. I know it didn't get the most critical acclaim, but I thought it was a lot of fun and it was memorable. It had great moments, and the chemistry between the cast was tremendous. It was the first time we got to see Mario on the big screen in an animated form, and it was the first time that it actually felt true to what the video games were, in that the characterizations were accurate, the side characters were accurate, unlike the Bob Hoskins John Leguizamo movie.
Hey, I've got a lot of love for that film.
I love that movie, but it wasn't Super Mario Brothers.
No, it was not. Yeah.
And then, of course, there were key moments in that first film, like the Peaches song, for example, that will drill its way into your brain and stay there forever. Now, 3 years later, we have the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is an incredible disappointment because it feels like it has none of that stuff. It feels like they had zero ideas on where to take this. Like, I heard the title and I was excited because I thought, oh, look, it's going to be escalation. You've had the Mushroom Kingdom stuff, you've been to Donkey Kong Country, you've done all of that stuff. What's next? Let's go out into the galaxy. Let's do some of those outer space intergalactic characters that feature within the Nintendo universe. Maybe there'll be a cool story to tell as well. This movie does none of that. It is cutscene after cutscene with zero plot or narrative in between. There is no emotional heft. None of that fun banter between the brothers is there. Fuck, I don't even think Mario is there for the majority of the screen time. Everything is just Easter egg and fan service without any of the substance that makes those things acceptable.
Yeah. This was bad. This was bad. I mean, it was, to not put too fine a point on it, this was just clip after clip after clip. You will see sequences in this movie that were from the trailer that was just that. They were trailer footage. And there's barely any real sort of connective story tissue here. Mario and Luigi are pretty much sidelined throughout this film. But even then, I don't want to say that they're the B story because the A story doesn't quite do much either. I was thoroughly disappointed and bored in this film.
What is the A story? The A story is that there is a new princess who gets kidnapped by Bowser's son, and then Princess Peach and Toad have to go rescue her. I guess that's the A story. They ditch Mario and Luigi in the Mushroom Kingdom and say, hey, you're in charge here now. But then the Mushroom Kingdom gets attacked, and then Mario and Luigi have to go after Peach. But they have a miniaturized Bowser with them who is magically their buddy now because he's had therapy, Bahe?
Yeah, he did
Painting.
painting this whole time.
Painting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
art therapy.
Can I just say, I kept rewriting this movie as I was watching it because there were all of these loose threads and wasted potential. Like Bowser Jr. uses a paintbrush as his weapon. His father is doing art therapy. There is something to be done there, but they don't do anything with it. They do zero with it. Peach and the other princess have a connection, and yet there is zero emotional heft. There should be, because we felt that same brotherly love in the first movie between Mario and Luigi, and yet when they try and introduce a sisterly angle in this one, they do so little with it that it leaves you just feeling a little cold. And then there are all of these different set pieces set in the different worlds across the Mario games, which are just that. Like, they forget that in between the cutscenes, you're actually playing the video game in real life, and you're experiencing story.
I don't even want to call what happens on those islands as set pieces, because when there's a air quote set piece, you go somewhere, something happens, and the story moves along, right? You go to the temple because you need to get the thing to do your main mission.
Like, a good set piece should serve the story and push it forward.
Yes. This is just, oh, look, in the game there is a water planet. Let's go do a water thing. And like, burp, and then they leave. I'm guessing there's an Egyptian planet or something.
In Super Mario Odyssey, there's the underground pyramids thing. Yeah.
Again, none of it matters. I just also want to point out, we're about 15 or 10 minutes into this conversation. We haven't mentioned Yoshi because Yoshi does fuck all.
Yoshi does fuck all.
That is the easiest paycheck Donald Glover has ever made.
And you know what? If that's the character, fine. Groot doesn't say anything but Groot.
Yes, but he does stuff.
He does stuff. He's a part of the crew. And in this one, Yoshi gets added as a part of the crew. He's now a Guardian of the Galaxy, and he does nothing.
He's just there to sell Yoshi toys.
I mean, I will buy a Yoshi toy because I fucking love Yoshi.
But I don't think adding him in this way does anything in pursuit of selling more Yoshi toys.
Correct, because it's not the movie that made me fall in love with Yoshi. I like Yoshi from the games. And Yoshi's cute in the movie, but that's all it is. It's just a function of being cute. They don't do anything else with it. And the problem is, after coming off something like Hoppers and Goat even, this feels so lazy. This feels like your typical Universal product. Like, it is Minions, it is Despicable Me, it is the sequels to those movies, right? Like, the first Despicable Me was very good, but then after that, they kind of have sequelitis, and they just kind of make things to cater to kids' short attention spans. Like the Trolls movie, like Smurfs, like all of that garbage that we are fed, which has nothing of substance.
They make the movie just to make the movie.
They make the movie to either sell toys or be number one on a Spotify chart.
For whatever that's worth.
For whatever that's worth, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just so disappointing. Like, even the pacing, the editing, all of this feels like someone went to the Minions template and said, hey, this really worked for us. Let's just cut all of the movies like this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much Nintendo had to do with this, because I know Nintendo's only in it to sell more product, right? And so maybe they insisted that you have to feature Fox McCloud and you have to feature this character and you have to do this world, etc., etc., etc. But
I don't know.
for me, it's like, you can do all of that, but there is a clever way to feed story and narrative into it. I think you can do fan service, you can do homages, you can do references and Easter eggs, but you can still have a compelling, emotional, just interesting story that doesn't talk down to the kids, lah.
A story worth telling.
Yes. So disappointing. And can I tell you what else has been really pissing me off by people who are just like, oh yeah, well, what do you expect? It's a video game movie. Well, shut the fuck up, right? That means you haven't played a video game ever.
I admit there haven't been many good video game movies, but just because it's a title based of a video game doesn't automatically make it not only just bad, but doesn't automatically give it the license to be half-assed.
Not only that, I think some of them say it in that, oh, why don't you just enjoy it because it feels like a video game? No,
Right.
it doesn't feel like a video game because video games are incredibly fucking complex.
Yeah.
And video games have narratives. Some of them, I feel, are better than a lot of these Oscar-winning movies as well, right? I'm more emotionally invested in The Last of Us and Red Dead
Yeah.
than I am in some of the movies that were nominated this year. So video games mean something.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're just talking down to that when you go, oh, just enjoy it for what it is, bro. It's a video game movie.
No, but I think you're right. I think your first instinct to say that these people don't play video games, I think is it. I think the last time they played a video game was when they picked up a Sonic from, I don't know, the early 2000s or the late 1990s. You know what I mean? Like when they saw video games as just this silly side-scrolling thing
Yes.
and not, a narrative work of art. You know, like fucking God of War has got some fantastic storytelling.
Exactly.
Even something like Hades has got great script writing.
And it is just a fucking side-scroller too.
I mean, shit. Have you played Sifu? Like, that's got some intense storytelling right there. And it's a silly fighting game. Literally a silly fighting game. I think these people are going off of early 2000s, late 1990s Tekken and Street Fighter. Like, sure, those games don't really have narrative thread and they don't have to.
It's just uninformed commentary. It's the same people who look down on comic books
Yeah.
and be like, oh, it's just a comic book movie. What did you expect?
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it is a great disservice, not just to the Mario brand, but to their own pockets as well. Because if you are a parent with a child and you went and saw the first Mario movie and you're like, man, this was great. The logic of every parent is, if the kid fucking loved it, we're going to do it over and over again because it's going to shut them up and they're going to love it. And then you go and see this one, and it has none of those same beats that made the first one so cool. There is no Peaches song. I'm like, Jack Black is out there at every fucking press junket writing new songs and singing new shit. And I'm like, why did you include any of this in the movie? That is gold.
You're really more invested in this than I am.
It's just stupid, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, it is. And I think that
It's like such a waste.
for me, the biggest thing is it's a waste. I think the problem is, sure, we're two 40-year-old critics getting our knickers in a bunch for this movie, but I think the problem is there will be a parent out there who has wasted, I don't know, 150 ringgit on a day
Exactly.
out for this movie and then realize that it was bad and then not come back for Super Mario 3.
Yeah.
And I think that will be the problem.
Anyway, I did like one thing though.
Okay.
I liked seeing my favorite character, Fox McCloud, on the big screen. He does nothing in the film.
Does nothing. He is a glorified Uber driver.
But, yeah, that's exactly what he is. But, his introduction was super cool. And I really hope that means I've got a Switch 2 game coming my way.
You know what the problem is? Look, I have no affinity to this brand or to any of these characters, but like that fox was a cool, sexy fox. And he's played by the coolest, sexiest actor around right now. The problem is now, I probably won't be able to see a Fox movie. You know what I mean? Like, I would have loved a spin-off, but because this movie, I'm pissing on its parade, but like, this movie will probably make a lot of money.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't think it'll make as much as it did the last time.
I don't think so either. I think the opening weekend is going to be huge. And I think there'll be a massive second weekend drop-off.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll hit 1 billion.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about something good instead. Deadloch is back for season 2 on Prime Video. This was one of those sleeper shows that Bahe discovered one night and texts me and goes, holy shit, dude, you need to watch Deadloch. And I was like, what's that? And I Googled it and spelt it Deadlock and
Yep.
didn't find what I was looking for.
Nope.
And then he was like, no, lock, as in Scottish lock. I'm like, oh, lock. Okay. And then I searched Deadloch and I still didn't know what the hell I was getting into because it looked like a Scandi Noah set in fucking Tasmania, but also a comedy and a bit of a satire on Scandi Noah. And then I got into it and it was one of the best things I had seen on Prime Video, like ever.
Yeah.
Back for season 2, and damn, like so smart. Like you come back for season 2 after this thing was a hit, critical hit, right? I don't think enough people saw it, but it was a critical hit. You come back for season 2, and I think it's fucking bold to go, you know what? We're not just going to do the same thing again. We're going to do something completely different. We're taking them out of Tasmania. We're putting them in the Northern Territories, which is hot and sweaty and full of fucking crocodiles. And we're going to shake up their dynamic. And we're going to have a weird-ass fucking murder case.
Yeah.
Involving cops and hikers, like missing hikers, and croc smugglers and croc tour guides. And yet again, it is this weird and odd combination of people. And yet, the two Kates who write this have managed to pull it off. Like, I don't know how they do it. Every time I watch this show, I am amazed at how they write this thing, man. Like, it is so intricate and complex. Like, how you do weird and funny and violent and emotional and like murder mystery thriller stuff all thrown in with a satire on what Aussies are like in the Northern Territories. It's just a lot, and yet they pull it all off.
There is so much here that they're trying to sort of balance. It is bonkers that they do it as well as they do.
Right?
You know, because like there is a murder at the center of this, and just like in the first season, right? There's a murder at the center of the story, but you're also trying to introduce these two mismatched partners. You're trying to introduce the idea of this really strange, possibly insular backwater place in Australia. You're also trying to introduce police politics and also general misogyny and sexism. There are all these layers that they sort of just traverse very easily. It never feels like a chore. All of these things that they're balancing through never feels like one too many things. It all feels perfectly layered, and not just perfectly layered, but also like logical.
Yes. All of it works within the context of this world that they have built.
But a world that doesn't feel so alien to ours.
Correct.
Yeah.
Once again, everything here is rooted in your two leads, right? Kate Box and Madeline Sammy play Dulcie and Eddie, and their police partners, unlikely partners. Eddie was kind of assigned to the Tasmanian murder case or the Tasmanian serial killer case. And then now they find themselves in the Northern Territories because they want to figure out what happened to Eddie's ex-partner, who is dead. Is it a suicide? Was it a murder? And at the very opening of this show, that bit is done away with very quickly. And you think, oh wait, it's done. Like we're moving on to something else. Actually, every element of the whodunit is very cleverly layered because you have no idea what's the red herring and what isn't. And so, like every great whodunit, when things circle back around, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, I forgot about that bit. Oh shit, that guy's involved? Like, what's going on? And like, all of that plays out very well. And I think we said this about season 1 as well, where you have the satire element and you have the serious discourse about male chauvinism and all of that stuff. But at the same time, they don't sacrifice the whodunit. It's the same thing that makes Only Murders so good. Like, sure, the whodunit sometimes feels secondary, even tertiary in that show, but they don't fuck about with it in the sense that the mystery is still important. There's actually a lot of good writing that goes into that mystery. When it finally gets solved, you're not like, whatever, it was some Deus Ex Machina shit, right? I think that's what I enjoy most about all of the elements. They don't shortchange you on anything. Like the comedy is great, the drama is great, the murder mystery is great.
I think Only Murders is a good comparison because Only Murders leans into more the sort of funny, I think, whereas Deadloch almost leans into more the drama. And it does that, again, like you said, without sacrificing the murder at the center of it. The murder is serious, the murder is handled seriously.
I think the biggest difference between the two shows, and this is something that the Kates told us when we interviewed them, the biggest difference is that in Only Murders, it feels like they know they're in a sitcom. Meanwhile, in Deadloch, everyone is playing it straight. So everyone is in a drama. Even though they're doing and saying very funny things, all of it feels natural to the characters and it's who they are as opposed to dropping jokes and one-liners. And I think that's the big difference. And that's why Deadloch as well has this hybrid quality that kind of defies genre. It's very hard for me to sell the show to people or even explain what it is. I just need to tell people to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way they can understand what's going on.
Yeah, do the first episode and tell me you're not into it.
Yeah.
And then we can not be friends anymore.
And then, you know what else is great? Or continues to be great?
Okay.
The cursing, man. The cussing in this show is... And you know what it is? Like, I was thinking about it. And I was like, wait, why do I like this? And why do I enjoy this more than the Iannucci stuff now? Like, for me, the cussing in this show is on another level. And I think I know why. It's the dirty Aussie accent. That's what it is. That is exactly what it is. It adds a layer of texture that isn't the same with the Brits.
My thing is that I prefer the Deadloch insults because the Deadloch insults feel more accessible.
Yes.
The Iannucci insults feel like you have to wear a suit and have gone to at least a year and a half in Oxford or Cambridge to get.
Yeah.
Or you have to have read the news. You know what I mean? Whereas here, it's just the
creative use of 3 words, right? It's the creative use of fuck, cunt, and shit.
I know what it is. I feel like the Kate's insults are more imagery based.
Yes.
So you're not really calling someone an idiot. You're not just insulting the sun for being hot. You're drawing literally a picture for the listener about how hot it is.
You know what it is? It's Blackadder.
It's Blackadder.
Blackadder used to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crude. Even then, they don't really use the... I mean, sure, they use the F word, they use the C word, but sometimes it's also just the other insults that they come up with, which just have my jaw on the floor. It's so funny. I also don't want to take away from the fact that it is quite a serious show, right? Like, the insults are funny, the characters are funny, the situations of them stumbling around this backwater Australian town is funny. But I mean, the gruesome murder is gruesome, right?
It's because they're doing serious things. Like,
they're doing serious things.
It is a backwater town for sure. And you run into a whole bunch of hicks. And all of them are pretty funny and you can laugh at them. But the characters themselves are indulged and involved in very serious things. Like, they're taking their jobs very seriously. They've got a murder to solve. They've got a friendship on the line. Like, all of these issues are there. And none of that is made fun of by them.
Yeah.
But we're laughing at it because of the situation they find themselves in. And I think that's great. And both of them, Kate Box and Madeline Sammy, really are the MVPs. Like, both of them play those parts so perfectly. And I think it's so perfectly played in an environment where you're sweating all the time. Like, Madeline Sammy's Eddie is just running and like, rah, the whole fucking time. And it's great.
It's those fishing shirts, man. I don't know why they wear them. They're terrible.
I love those shirts, though.
No, Like I get it, but at the same time they're terrible.
They are.
Like
They're awful.
sure, people say they're moisture wick, but like the material they're made of is what makes you sweat, you dummy. It is the fucking worst.
No, we cannot recommend the show highly enough. Like, it is absolutely fantastic. We don't want to get into the plot because it is so convoluted that to explain anything would be to give stuff away. Like, the mere fact that I mentioned hikers has already given too much away because it's planted in your mind that those are important things to remember. But as I was watching the show, I would forget key elements. And then when it came up again, I would be genuinely surprised.
And I think that's almost the point, right? The Kates wrote it in such a way where these important in air quotes things will drop off for a while and then they become important again later. And that really allows your brain to sort of only juggle 2 or 3 things at the same time while enjoying the dialogue, the character, the insults, the setting that they're in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Can't recommend Deadloch highly enough. If you haven't seen season 1, it's on Prime Video as well. Season 2 is only 6 episodes, so you can get through all of it in no time. And trust us, it is well worth your time. So, check out Deadloch on Prime Video. If you've seen the Super Mario Galaxy movie, let us know your thoughts. Did you enjoy it any more than we did? You know how to reach out. We're on Instagram on GogglerMY. You can also email us on podcast@goggler.my or send us a WhatsApp on the Goggler hotline 012-524-5208. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Goggler Podcast.